Let's talk about how you can be successful in your nutrition, because let's be honest, this shit is hard and I want you to be successful. So we need to understand a couple of things to get started, okay? You will not see the progress you want to see if you do not have a firm hold on your nutrition. It doesn't mean it needs to be perfect, and it most certainly does not need to be restrictive, but you need to understand it and you need to be consistent in it. I've said it before and I will say it again. You need to be at least 80% consistent, which means 80% of the time you are hitting your nutrition goals. So let's talk about ways that you can be successful. One is you need to know and understand your calorie intake, okay? If I'm asking you, or if anybody asks you, what are your calories, what are your macros, you should kind of know off the top of your head, right? It doesn't have to be exactly memorized, but you should have an idea, especially if you're somebody who's tracking, you know? You also want to have an understanding of why we have your calorie goal, because it might just help you stick with that calorie goal more, right? So I calculate your calories based off of your height, your gender, your age, and a couple of other different factors, such as how much physical activity you're doing in your job and in training. So I give you a pocket of calories, right? It doesn't have to be exact, but it's within a certain amount. And that is so if you're not as hungry one day, you're still hitting a minimum. And if you're a little bit more hungry than normal, or life is just life and it's not perfect and it goes a little over, it's fine. It doesn't lead to a restrictive mindset with it. The app will give you about a 10% window, so it'll turn gold when you hit it. And a good rule of thumb that you can think of is staying within 150 calories or within 5 grams of your carbs and your proteins, because remember, 1 gram of each is equal to 4 calories. But for your fats, because they're on the higher end of calories, we want to stay within 3 grams. So that means if you're over 5 grams, that's great. If you're under those 5 to 3 grams, that's still okay. You're still doing really well in your nutrition. The next thing that you can do is plan ahead and prepare. You cannot go into the gym. In fact, you aren't going into the gym not knowing what you're gonna do, because you have me and I've programmed everything for you. Your nutrition is very similar. I've already calculated out your calories, your macros. Some of you may even have a meal plan, so you really don't have an excuse here. But you need to be prepared and you need to know what you're going to eat. The mistake that I see people make time and time again is that they don't plan out their meals and then they're just kind of grabbing whatever is available, and then they're not hitting their calorie goals and they're like, Brittany, I don't know what to eat. First of all, check out your client resources page. There's a ton of ideas for proteins, carbs, and fats, snacks, and even foods that you can cook without actually having to cook. It's the no cooking cheat sheet, so please check it out. You will not be successful if you wing this shit. So please plan. In fact, I have homework for you. If you have never tracked before, if you have never been successful in nutrition before, this is where the change starts. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to have your calorie goal, your intake, and I want you to plan out a full day of eating in MyFitnessPal or the app. And I want you to pick foods that are going to help you reach that goal. Make sure that you understand how to track accurately as well. I do have a separate video for that, so if you need help, please check it out, because tracking accurately is going to make a really big difference, and then we're all on the same page of how we're tracking food in order to be successful. Plan out an entire day of eating, hitting all of your calorie/macro goals. Once you have that, you already have a template of what it looks like to be successful hitting those goals. So if you're struggling, you can fall back on that. Or, and this is what I think you should do, follow that like a meal plan for the week. And you can copy and paste those meals to the next day so that I can see how you're doing, because I'm here to keep you accountable and you will be successful. Once you figure out what you need to eat each day, you can derive your budget and groceries from that. So you can actually write out your groceries, you know exactly what you need to go get. And remember that meal prepping and planning is also a skill. It takes practice. You might not be great at it at first, but don't beat yourself up over it and just give up. Just take notes, figure out what works for you. You can ask questions in the group chat. We're all there to help each other. You have all of these tools at your disposal, so please use them. I will have a separate video on meal prepping tips and planning, so please be on the lookout for that if that's something that's also new to you. But meal prep can look like just prepping your proteins and cooking them so they are ready to go, and meals are easier to put together, saving you a little bit of time. It can even be chopping up vegetables and fruits so that you're still saving time throughout the week and just putting stuff together, especially if you're somebody who likes to prepare things fresh, because that's the only way you can eat it. That's just something that you can do. Next thing, I want you to schedule your meals out. This is for the people who get way too busy during the day. You forget to eat. You don't have breakfast. It's 2 p.m. and that's your first meal. You feel like you're starving / you have a craving at the end of the day, so you stuff your face and then you're like, oh shit, I'm over on calories or I'm not even where I'm supposed to be. If you have no appetite, this is also for you. On the other end of the spectrum, if you eat out of boredom, if you overeat at a certain time of day, so if in the evening you tend to eat a lot because either you're bored or you're emotionally eating or that's how you cope with stress, we need to have a schedule of eating. You also need to know how to manage your stress better too. That's a big one. This will help you make time for your meals. I cannot stress this enough. This is really, really helpful. In my Google Calendar, because I can't operate without it. It just helps me when you're a very busy person, or if you're a mom or a dad, schedule in your meal times. This is for people who have 12-hour shifts. This is for people who work nonstop and then work straight through lunch because they just get in a workflow. This is for us ADHDers who just need to finish a task before we can move on. You need to schedule your meals and you need to make it non-negotiable. Make it like an appointment you cannot miss. And it can be anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Just something so that you have a reminder to eat. And you can even try other methods. You can use an alarm, you can use your Google Calendar, you can post a sticky note, you can ask other people to help remind you. But if you are not hitting your calorie goals, you need to do this. You need to track everything. This is not for people who are not tracking calories. Maybe you're also tracking protein though. Track everything that goes in your little mouth. I don't care if it's little bites, if it's little snacks, if you're like, oh, this doesn't really count because it's not much and I'm gonna work out anyway. No, it does make a difference. Remember, your window is only 150 calories and you'd be surprised what is 150 calories. So just track everything that you eat because it will add up. Your creamer, the oils, the butters that you use when you're cooking, the little snacks, all of it. The last thing that is going to make or break you right here is following through. You have all the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the resources. Now it is time to take action. This is where a lot of people fail. You will make the difference when you take action. You know what to do. Don't be lazy, because people who are strong and healthy are not fucking lazy. Think of the person you want to be at the end of this. Think of the person you want to be a year from now. What do they do to be successful? What are the people that you admire and that you look up to in the fitness industry or just in life in general? What do they do in order to be successful? They're not lazy about it. Do not be lazy about it, and please take action. Okay, that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, if you need anything, please shoot me a message, but I'll see you in the next video.